It is a proven statistic that people buy on the 8th to the 12th exposure because over that time, they build some level of trust. Well, hey there, and welcome back to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Sam Hind, and it is my honor and privilege today to share with you some game-changing social media strategies that are going to get you the results in your business that I know you want to see. And I'm going to tell you why as I go through each of these. But one thing to remember about social media is that it is constantly changing and evolving, as are your customers and as are you, which means that the types of posts we put out there, we should always be assessing and considering, is this still serving my customers? Is it still relevant for my business? And is it still going to get me results on social media given the changes in platforms and the algorithm? Now, what I want to share with you today, and I will constantly always be sharing with you, of course, on this podcast, are different posting strategies that are going to get you results right now. Now, the reason that I wanted to share these 5 strategies is because each of them is powerful in their own way. Each of them has a key purpose, but also each of these right now, I think, are being somewhat underutilized by most people. Now, it's really easy to get caught up in selling all of the time. And I want to be clear. I want you to get results, which is I want you to sell more product and, of course, recruit more people into your business. That's a given. But it's funny, sometimes we get those results easier when we do less selling and less recruiting and less promoting. The strategies I'm going to talk to you about today are going to help you do those things in a way that maybe feels a little bit more comfortable and congruent with your personality. And I know that that might just be exactly what you want to hear right now, because let's face it, most of us feel super uncomfortable and cheesy about constantly selling all of the time, right? So what if you could do it without selling? What if you could sell without selling really easily and get the results that you desire, maybe faster than what you've been getting them before? Well, I'm going to talk to you about these 5 strategies right now, but I also really want to mention that while we have this free resource for you, this podcast, we also have some other free resources I'd love to invite you on into. One of those being our free Facebook group, Social Media for Direct Sellers with Greg and Sam on Facebook, which is where we will often share with you little updates. We can share with you quick tidbits of things that are working right now and, of course, changes on the platforms really quickly, really timely, and really easily. We also show up in there with some challenges and fun events from time to time, and you'll be the first to hear about our upcoming challenges. I know everybody wants to hear about those. They are one of the most popular and fun things that we do, so we would absolutely love to invite you on in there. Also, something I don't talk about on this podcast very often, because I, for one, am absolutely one that prefers to seed and sell without selling, but I want to really openly invite you as well, because we've been getting lots of questions in this podcast about our membership opportunities. I'd like to share a very rare link with you in the show notes with this podcast to invite you on into the Oxano family. If you have been listening to this for a while, or you listen to this for the first time today and you think, you know what, I really connect with Greg and Sam. I'd love to learn a little bit more. I'd love to get more support from them. And you would like to be a part of our paid community, our paid trainings, and you would like to get more support in those spaces. We have some super amazing stuff happening at the moment in there. Huge amounts of value available to you. But most importantly, we're here to hold your hand through this social media journey and to grow your business and get you results. And we get hundreds of testimonials every week from our members experiencing exactly those things. So if you're like, you know what, that's me right now. I just want to invest in myself. I'm ready to take a leap. I don't need a big sell. I just want to jump on in and I want to be supported by these guys. We'd like to give you an opportunity to do that. And so I'm going to put a little link in the show notes as well, so you can check out our membership options and, of course, join the Oxano family and get more support and help from us. And if we see your name come through, we'll be reaching out immediately to you, welcoming you on in with open arms and getting you hooked into the community straight away. So we'd love to have you join us in there. But let's jump on in now. We're going to talk about 5 posting strategies that I know if you implement right now are going to help you get results. Now, as I go into these, I want to also remind you of the importance of being you. You are the key. to growing your business. You are the key to attracting the right people. You are the key to building something that's sustainable, that continues to bring in more of the right people. Where a lot of people go wrong is they think that they have to be more like somebody else and less like themselves in order to be successful on social media. Your technical ability has absolutely nothing to do with this. Your personality has everything to do with this. So what I want you to think about today is, how can I show up on social media sharing my personality to build trust? Because people buy from those they like, know, and trust. And so I want to make sure that you are showing up as you. So as I give you these 5 strategies right now, I want you to ask yourself, how can I use that strategy to align with my personality? I don't want you to try and be something you're not. I don't want you to incorporate an idea that I give you that sounds good but really doesn't feel like a fit with who you are. So I'm going to give you a couple little thoughts as we go through each of these. This is a power podcast episode, so it's going to be super fast. I'm going to churn through these quickly because I really want you to implement something today. And that's the key here. If you take something away from this episode that you can implement immediately, then you're going to be getting that all-important growth. And that's what I want for you. So the very first one of these is testimonials and customer experiences, or as I like to call it, third-party validation. Now, there are loads of ways you can incorporate these, but I really do think that testimonials are so underutilized. Now, the assumption is a testimonial needs to be, I used X product and it changed my life, because that is certainly one type of testimonial. But what I'm referring to here can be as simple as you putting a post on Facebook or an Instagram and asking people how they use a particular product, or what's their favorite recipe incorporating X ingredient, and so on and so forth. You can do some very, very clever posting that will incorporate these strategies for you in a way that is less salesy. So you don't kind of have to go in going, well, if you want to know what everyone thinks of this product, here is a testimonial. It can be much more subtle than that. It could also be as simple as you sharing a conversation you had with a customer or an experience you've had with a customer recently. Yes, it can be the direct, here's a before and after photo, or here's a testimonial from someone. But third-party validation is really where I want to take the focus of this today. And that is, when you share that somebody else is using the product, what you're essentially saying is, yes, this is popular. Yes, other people use this. And yes, you'll be following a group of people who are all getting success in this space. The question a lot of people are subconsciously asking themselves is, if I do this, will I be alone or will I be with people? People follow people. Third-party validation is a very powerful tool. So when you ask a question like, hey, I want to know how everyone incorporates this ingredient in what recipes everyone uses this ingredient with, and you put that post in your group and everyone comments and goes, oh, I use the protein powder in this recipe, or I do this, or I do that. What you're doing is you're creating something called third-party validation, which is where people are saying, I use the product without saying they use the product, because obviously they're sharing how they use it now. And you're getting them to share their testimonials without calling it a testimonial. Another way of doing third-party validation is as simple as doing a shout out when someone orders a product. That is, again, sharing with people that other people use this. It's not just me saying, this is great, people should buy it. It's me saying, I have other people buying this. And of course, that's going to create this situation where people go, well, if other people do it, I want to be part of the crowd. I want to follow the crowd. So third-party validation is another clever way of incorporating testimonials. But just remember, testimonials, customer experiences, third-party validation, very, very important, because you don't want to be the only one standing on the soapbox saying you need to try this product or you need to join this business. Have it coming from other people's mouths as well, because that is where the value lies, when people follow people. Now, don't forget as well, straight out asking someone for a testimonial, there's nothing wrong with that. And when's the last time you did it? Guarantee you, your customers want to support your business. They want to support you. They love you. They trust you. They've connected with you. You'll be surprised how many of them will be so super happy to share a little testimonial that you can pop on social media as well. Another thing you could simply do is ask someone to just share in your group what their favorite product is every now and again and why. Again, third-party validation. It doesn't need to be called a testimonial or a review. It can simply be somebody sharing their personal experience that's not you. Okay, that's number one. Let's go to number two. And we've talked about number two a lot recently, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but I'm going to remind you of the power of story selling. Okay. You like the little spin I did there? Storytelling, but we're doing storytelling for the purpose, of course, of growing our business. And storytelling is important because people buy through emotion and want versus what they need or versus what you tell them they should have. So when you share a story of personal experience, you are much more likely to get people asking questions. Now, I do a little demonstration often inside of our workshops and our masterclasses where I'll do two different demonstrations of the same product. Demonstration number one is me telling people all about the product. It's me going, here's the product, this is what it is, this is the ingredients, or this is how it was made, this is what it does, and here's how much it costs, and here's how you can buy it. That's option number one. But option number two is me sharing my personal experience with that product, which might look like, oh my goodness, I came across this amazing solution to this problem I was having. I have been loving it. This is what I've been doing. This is how I've used it. And then I simply share a personal story. The thing that I do with story selling is I leave out the obvious, the things that people are going to want to know at the end of that, which is, how do I buy it? How much does it cost? Those sorts of things are good to leave out. If you know that you leave people with more questions than answers, but they're intrigued enough to want to ask for those answers, then you've done a great job of your story selling. You want to hook them. And I like to say inside of our masterclasses, you want to know what they want and then almost give it to them and have them asking you for more. There is nothing wrong with that because at the end of the day, this is a people business. So when you have people coming to you saying, can you tell me a little bit more? You start the meaningful conversation. And that is where the long-term customer comes from, that person who is sold out for what you do that's going to shout about you from the rooftops because you've made it personal. You didn't just hand them a link and say, you need this, go and buy it. You went, you know what? Here is my experience. Come to me. I'll tell you a little more and let's be friends. And really, that's what this is all about. So that's number two. Let's go to number three, and that is lifestyle integration. Now, again, this is something I think a lot of people are afraid to do on social media because they feel like, number one, no one cares about my story. No one cares about my lifestyle. But you couldn't be more wrong. People want to like and know you. At the end of the day, we know that people don't buy from businesses, products, and individuals that they don't know. It is a proven statistic that people buy on the 8th to the 12th exposure because over that time, they build some level of trust. When you share your lifestyle integration, whether it is with product or the business, what you're essentially doing is saying, this is how and you are selling without selling, because you're not saying this is what you need. You're saying, this is how I do. This is how I use. This is my journey. This is what I get up to. Now, remembering it doesn't all have to be about the product and the business as well. People want to know you personally. And it is up to you how much you share. You don't need to tell them your life story. And, you know, Greg and I certainly don't share all of the ins and outs of our personal lives, but we certainly share a little bit of the behind the scenes enough that we're comfortable, but also that our audience feels that they know us a little bit and it's genuine. And that's really important. So we'll share things like what we might get up to on the weekend every so often, or a book I might be reading behind the scenes, or, you know, a conference we go to, or I'm not going to just share us on stage. We might share a picture or a video of me getting ready backstage. I've got a little routine I go through and some audios I listen to, and I do a bit of bouncing to get my body going. And, you know, when we share that behind the scenes, that lifestyle integration of who we really are behind the scenes, people relate to that. they suddenly see us as humans, not just these people that are showing up and telling them what they need all the time. And I guarantee it's why you might tune into this podcast each week, is because you know what? You know you're going to get to know me. I'm going to openly share bits and pieces with you along the way. It's not me providing this facade that's fake, that's not real, that you don't really connect with. And if you didn't connect with us, you wouldn't keep showing up. So I want to encourage you. It's not about you worrying about being the perfect version of yourself. It's not about, hey, I don't think people care about that. If your family and friends care about those parts of you, your dream customer are going to care about those parts of you. Again, you don't have to share all of your personal information, but absolutely share a little bit of you behind the scenes, a little bit of your lifestyle integration to a level that you're comfortable with and that's appropriate. Have some fun with it. Now, one thing I will say, and I've got 2 more to give you guys here. But each week inside of our Accelerator membership group, we unpack at least 10 different ways to use each of these posting strategies. So for our members that are listening to this, make sure you get in and you check out those videos, because I've been through all of these that I'm going through today and heaps more. And what we're doing each week is we're giving you the strategy, and then we're giving you 10 different ways to use that strategy, 10 different ideas to incorporate it into your recipe. So if you're wanting some posting ideas, if you're wondering, how do I use this in a way that feels right for me, then those videos are going to be really powerful for you. Again, if you want to know more about our Accelerator membership, it's only $49 a month. We completely guarantee all of our memberships. And we would love to have you jump in and join us inside of the community there. The link, of course, is in with the show notes. Okay, so let's go on to number 4. And number 4 is another one we do talk about a lot, but again, I think this is probably underutilized, and that is education and value. Now, I put education together with value because I feel like it is in itself value. And so educating people about various different things, but providing never-ending value to your audience on social media is what's going to have them coming back for more and more and more and more. When someone goes to your Facebook feed and they are provided with things they value, things they care about, content that they want to consume, they're going to keep coming back. Now, value may be understanding one of 2 questions. I'm going to give you my 2 golden questions again. In case you haven't heard these before, they are: what keeps them up at night? Which means what problems in life do they want to solve? What bothers them, frustrates them? And number 2 is what gets them up in the morning, which means what do they value and care about? What are they interested in? What sort of conversations do they want to have? When you know the answer to those 2 questions, you can provide incredible content on social media really quickly, because you're tapping into providing value that is problem-based or value that is interest-based. And so when you can put content out there that taps into those 2 things, you are winning every single time. So education and value goes together, but they are 2 very valuable pieces of content that will help you connect with the right people. They will qualify your audience. They will bring leads in. Again, there are some lead strategies that we often teach on that are super simple and will generate you leads every single day when you get this one right. So make sure that you're always thinking, how can I provide value to my audience? The last one is this. The last one is one that people either overuse or completely underutilize. And before I tell you what it is, I want to remind you that you need to make sure that these, especially this last one, are congruent with you. Now, I see this one get misused a lot because people think they need to be something else in order to do this one well. And I've got to be very careful how I say this because I don't want to name and shame, but I recently spoke at an event where another person came in as an influencer to teach this exact strategy, but they taught it as one way of using this strategy. And I want to be really clear. When you do that, when you do the one way that someone gives you, you are not bringing your personality into it, and you probably won't feel comfortable with it. So let me explain the strategy, and then I'll explain to you how you can incorporate this one, right? So this one comes back to what the platform is really here for, and that is to entertain. So the last one is humor and humor-based content, humorous content, entertaining content. And this is something, like I said, I think people either overuse or underutilize. It is a really big part of my personal strategy because Greg and I naturally, we have a big sense of humor. We love to have a laugh. And so we incorporate that sense of humor into our content often. You will see if you follow our Oxano page, lots of humorous content from memes through to us playing jokes on each other, through to, funny photographs, caption this style posts, all sorts of things. But what you won't see us do is dancing to trending audios and doing reels and things that are not within our personality type. We will do things that are totally in alignment with who we are. We've got a very, like I said, dry and sarcastic Aussie sense of humor, and we play with that. But we're not going to do something just because it's trending. We're going to do something because it's in alignment with who we are. And I want to be really clear about that. There's a really, I'm seeing a lot of people right now jumping onto trends that I can tell are not in alignment with their personalities. They're doing it because they think they're going to get views, because they think it's funny, they think it's entertaining. And it might be those things, but you can laugh at something and still go, that person's being fake. We've all seen it, right? I don't want it to be you. So I want to just ask you, how can you incorporate humor and entertainment into your strategy while also staying true to who you are? And that means, you know what, just because something's trending doesn't mean it's the right piece of content for me to be using. So, for us, we incorporate humor in lots of different ways, from, sharing funny fails behind the scenes to bloopers. We love to do bloopers, meme-based content. So we know most of our audience are parents. And so you'll often see on the Oxano page a good fun parenting meme. And our audience love those because most of them are parents and they relate to that. But here's the thing, we're also paying attention to what our audience is telling us. And this is the key to all of these strategies. It's not just about putting the content up, walking away and coming up with the next post. Most of your success will be found in the analyzing of your previous content, looking back and going, what did they tell me? What did they say? What did they do? How many views did I get? How many clicks did I get? What are people saying offline? Also consider the people that are coming up to you and saying, oh my gosh, I saw your post the other day. Take note of those conversations because sometimes people are telling you offline what's working as well. And I think, we talk a lot inside of our masterclasses about just because they're not interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. So I want you to pay attention to lots of different things, but be paying attention, be listening, because your audience, your people, your dream customers are going to tell you what they want more and less of. The problem with most people on social media is they simply don't listen. They don't pay attention. They keep posting things for the sake of it, which is like throwing spaghetti at the wall and waiting to see what sticks. So with all of that being said, be true to who you are, keep it relevant, and have fun. That's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, pay attention to what they're telling you and adapt. Each week when you create your posts, following week, sit down and look at what worked, what didn't, what can I learn from this, and how can I adapt and adjust my strategy. Now, a little reminder as well, for all of our members, we also have Oxano Social, which is that amazing platform that has over 15,000 pieces of ready-made content and content strategy ideas and prompts in your calendar every day, as well as that scheduling tool. Now, all of these strategies I've just been through with you are all located in there, plus many, many more. So if you're wondering, how can I use some of these strategies Sam talked about today? Get into your training, get into the Accelerator membership group, have a look at the videos I've done sharing with you and unpacking each of these strategies and many more, and use the amazing posting tool we've given you to use stuff we've already created. Don't reinvent the wheel. Keep it simple. At the end of the day, your time is super precious and we want to honor you for that, and we want to make sure that you're valuing it and we value it too. So thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. Remember, we've got a free Facebook community you can be a member of, or of course, if you want to get more help in this space, you can be a part of our paid Oxano family, our memberships. So that's it from me today. Thank you again for tuning into this episode. Please share this episode with somebody that might be looking for a little bit of social media help too. And we look forward to seeing you on the podcast again next week. That's it from me. Bye for now. We'll see you again here next week.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.